last couple of days, we've been seeing a lot of extreme fire behavior. Um, Basically, it's been completely resistant to any kind of control efforts, and we've had it jump numerous lines, the Brazos River, and several roadways. Today, things are looking a lot better. The weather conditions that we had this morning really helped out quite a bit. We had a lot of relative humidity, was very high this morning and last night, and winds were very low. And so there was no jump in containment or anything like that last night. All the lines that we had in place had held, and the acreage did not increase from yesterday. Going into last night, it did not increase at all. It was still holding at 11,000, a little over 11,000 acres. And this morning, crews were able to get a good start working on containment and everything to continue those efforts as well. We did conduct several backburn operations in areas of unburnt fuel. The weather conditions were favorable for that, so they were able to remove pockets of unburnt vegetation by controlled burning, and so that's going to really go a long ways as far as improving our containment.
You got to issue any evacuations, or is that?
We haven't had to issue any new evacuations. Areas along the FM4 and a lot of the areas along a Grassy Ridge Road were still evacuated. But other than that, no new evacuation orders have been in place. The town of Grayford has not evacuated, and no other communities in the area have evacuated. FM4 still continues to be closed to the public, however.
So how are you manning this? How many crews are out there and rotating and that sort of thing?
So we have several crews. We have several out-of-state resources that are assisting with us with heavy equipment. So we have numerous dozer crews on scene working in shifts. So we have a day shift and a night shift, and so they're able to continue operations into the night without overworking our crews, as well as several engine crews from both out-of-state, federal, and in-state resources that we have. And then, of course, several local fire crews are here as well, assisting. And so we have a very heavy supply of engines that are working and helping hold a lot of these fire lines, and also doing structure protection in areas that flare up.
So what triggers the Forestry Service to get involved in the local fire folks?
So essentially, it's a request. When a fire initially starts, the local responders are dispatched to that area depending on what the response region is, and they get on scene and begin suppression efforts on the fire. Once that exceeds their capacity, they'll request mutual aid, which is usually still handled at local dispatch level, and other fire departments will come on to assist them with that. And then at that point, if it still continues to resist their efforts, then they contact us, our regional fire coordinators, and they will coordinate with the task forces that we have. We have several task forces across the state. They'll coordinate with them and send the necessary equipment out to assist with the locals. And of course, we work in unified command with the locals too, and then essentially assist them with what their needs are and what their goals and objectives are.
So what would you like for the public to know in regards to this fire, and is there anything they can do to help?
Absolutely. So this fire, this fire, the Eastland Complex and the Mesquite Heat Fire, both that happened a few months back, are great examples of the kind of wildland fuel dryness that we are seeing. Wildland fuels being the vegetation in the area, just due to the lack of precipitation and the high temperatures. we're seeing critically dry fuels, which is leading to extreme fire behavior, and that's what's making a lot of this so resistant to control. Is it continues? I'm sorry, my phone's
okay.
going off.
It's okay. No big deal.
Let me put it on silent. All right, let's go back.
Yeah.
So really, this is just really an eye opener as far as how critically dry our fuels and vegetation are, and so that's what's showing. We're essentially seeing spotting, spot fires starting. Sometimes as far as a quarter mile ahead of the head of the fire, and so that's what's really making it difficult to get control of these. We have large geographic barriers that are, this thing is completely jumping over. And so my biggest advice to the public is, do what you can, like try to prevent a fire in the first place, because once one gets established, it's really hard, to get control of it after that, especially with the conditions that we're having. Tips of when it comes to roadside, making sure your safety chains are properly secured on trailers if you're hauling a trailer, maintaining your vehicle properly, proper tire inflation. That's a big one. If you get a blowout, for one thing, that's for your safety, of course, and also, a blown tire the steel belts in it can lead to a spark. When you pull off on the side of the road, try to either stay on the shoulder or find a clearing that doesn't have a lot of grass in it, because your vehicle idling in tall grass can also ignite a wildfire because of the exhaust systems underneath. And then, if you have to do that, shut your engine off. We know it's hot out, but at the same time, you don't want a vehicle starting up underneath. A fire starting up underneath your vehicle, and so, just different things like that. And then use caution with outdoor activities. Welding, grinding, having, some kind of spot, like having some kind of water source available, or fire extinguisher, and then of course have a spotter watching your back when you're doing those kind of things, making sure you're not catching something on fire. And so we just really urge everybody to use caution when doing anything with fire outside, anything that produces sparks, coals, charcoal, anything like that. Just really think about what you're doing out there, and just be mindful about how hot and windy it is and how dry it is, because once a fire gets established, it's, as you can tell, is very difficult to get control of after that.
You think what would help abate this then? Probably further change, rain or...
Right, yeah, so on large fires like this, it's usually a weather change that really helps us out in the long run of getting control in it, whether that be a wind shift, precipitation, anything like that, because as long as the weather conditions keep up the way they are, the fire is going to continue burning the way, based off of those weather conditions. Again, if it's jumping rivers and highways, it's hard, very difficult to stop it at that point. So.
Stuart, can you talk about the forecasted winds that you guys are concerned about today?
Yeah. And so going into this afternoon, we're predicting a cold front to come in, and that's going to bring, it's unfortunately not going to bring very cold temperatures, but it is going to bring a wind shift, which we're concerned about. In the last couple of days, the fire's mainly been making a push towards the north to northwest with southerly winds. However, with the shift in the winds coming out of the north, it's going to push it back to the south. Ideally, they'll push it back on itself, and hopefully that'll really help us get a lot more control of it. However, if it were to jump the containment lines already in place on the south end, it could potentially make a run to the south as well. And so, residents who live to the south of this fire, especially in Palo Pinto, we just want y'all to be, we urge you to be aware of it. There's no evacuations or anything like that at this time, and it's not of high concern, but just be aware, and you may consider just being prepared to evacuate should something like that happen. So.
Stuart, I'm sure you're not doing much investigation at this point, still fighting, but there's been some inklings that this was started by a welding situation. Can you confirm any of that?
Unfortunately, we're still investigating the ignition cause of it, but again, we're looking into it. So.
Anything else you wanted to touch on that you wanted to get out there?
Nah.
I think we're pretty well covered. Yeah.